Hi, everybody, and welcome to today's first lecture, or this semester's first lecture in EDCI 633. And today we're going to look at stakeholders in educational technology. So when we think about it, there's really 7 different stakeholders within the framework of this class and what we do with EdTech. We have our students, teachers, administrators, staff, parents, community, and government. And now we're going to talk a little bit more about each one of these groups of stakeholders related to this course and EdTech. So the first group is your students, right? These are the people who are probably most likely going to be impacted by the technology decisions that are made. You have to decide which technology are we going to use. If it's for elementary school versus high school, well, it's going to be completely different. Maybe you have high ESL learners, things of that nature. So it's going to impact, not along with financial resources, what you implement and train teachers on, etc. What are the goals of the educational technology? Again, that's going to come down to, do you want to use, for instance, like a plagiarism checking technology? Well, in elementary school, that might not really work. What are the technology skills of your students? What type of access do they have at home to technology? Things of that nature are going to matter. And then also, you're going to want to consult with different leadership groups, student council, honor society, things of that nature to develop and get feedback from them for the ability to best suit the needs of your students. Teachers, teachers come from a wide variety of backgrounds. Some are brand new, some have been doing this for 15, 20 or more years. What are the teaching methods of the teachers you have? Are they very engaging style? Is it more laid back? Is it student centered? Is it teacher centered? What are the skills of your teaching staff? Are they brand new college graduates who have just walked out with a technology course, or are they people who have been there 25 or 30 years and don't really use technology and really are kind of adverse to it? So the attitudes of the teaching staff is going to impact this as well. How does this impact their jobs? How does this improve direct contact with students? You set up communication tools, maybe student blogs or teacher blogs, or you use programs such as Remind, where students can access teachers at any time that the teacher permits to get questions and get feedback on assignments. And then peer influence, right? So how do they learn about different technologies? Administrators, these are the policymakers. These are our principals, our superintendents, our technology coordinators, for instance. They design and approve the curriculum. They conduct teacher evaluations, part of which may be how is technology utilized in the classroom. These are likely the people who are going to be reporting to the school board. So they act as a buffer zone between the teachers and the school board or superintendent. So it's very, very important. And these administrators are going to have various needs depending upon, are they at a middle school, a high school, an elementary school, things of that nature. So again, administrators, how can you communicate and utilize technology to reach parents, to communicate messages? Maybe there's an emergency happening at the school. How are you going to get that information out? How do you want to keep parents up to date on just activities that are happening at the school? And as an administrator, fair or not, you are the public face of the school district, or especially the school building, that the community is going to recognize. So how do you promote that student and parent interaction and facilitate that? Staff, now these are people who are largely dependent upon the success of the school for their job. This could be maintenance staff, lunch staff, things of that nature, bus drivers, right? They all have to adhere and follow specific school policies, but they're always constantly interacting with other stakeholders, right? This could be down to students, this could be teachers, this can be administrators. It's their whole day is intertwined with the teachers and administrators as well. And a lot of times you'll see that these people are intertwined with the community. They are a parent. They have a niece or a nephew or a grandson or granddaughter that goes to school there. Or maybe they just live in the community itself. So they have a vested interest in the success of the school. Parents, parents are always going to be concerned. Parents are going to always contact and reach out to teachers and reach out to administrators. So how can we utilize EdTech to help facilitate those messages? We touched a little bit on this earlier, but are there parent teacher groups? This could be on WhatsApp. This could be in Facebook. This could be in Google Hangouts. How do you contact parents who want to volunteer? Maybe you have field trips coming up or PTA days, and you want to get the message out, and you want people to be able to sign up and participate in these different activities. Well, different parents are going to have different socioeconomic backgrounds. Some are going to be wealthy and they can afford a home laptop and a home desktop, and all their children have smartphones and they have smartphones. Where other families, they might not even have access to internet at home. So it's going to depend. You're going to have to know who your population is within your school district. And I mean, if you're at a rural school, a lot of your parents and homes might not even have access to the internet because it just doesn't exist. So whereas if you're looking at a rural, excuse me, an urban school, those students and parents are much more likely to have a smartphone as opposed to a computer at home. So how does that alter how you communicate with parents? Your community. Now, this is a great way of reaching out to people. It can be as simple as organizing as well, like shared calendars, for instance, shared resources of facilities. You have sports complexes or gyms or auditoriums, and you need that to be organized. You can do that right there. You can set up businesses in terms of partnerships and funding opportunities. Maybe get donations for renovation of a building or adding of technology. You're going and you're finding student internships. This is a great way to go ahead and do that. Off-campus activities, field trips, scheduling, things of that nature, establishing communication and contact with higher ed institutions. A lot of times now it's very common where we have public school districts have partnerships with higher education institutions, and high school students are now taking higher education classes. It's fantastic. And then also, lastly, the health and safety services aspect. How do you go about communicating with these groups and various organizations within the community? And then lastly, our government. So we have three basic levels when we refer to government: local, state, and federal. So local, we all have our school board. There's usually an elected school board, whether that's in the town or the council, or excuse me, the county that you're in. And that's going to impact the curriculum changes and resources and things of that nature. So it's important to understand that relationship. We look at the state, we look at Ohio Department of Education. They're the ones that dictate specific state standards that have to be taught. They also have technology standards. So uh, behaviors that students should be able to demonstrate and knowledge that they should be able to demonstrate by the time that they leave. This is all tied into state funding, of course, right? And legislature looking at laws that are being created that we have to, fairly or unfairly, integrate into our curriculum design and our communication. And then lastly, now this one is the least influential or least stakeholder-ish, I guess if that's the right word, of government, and that is the federal government. Now, the big thing is you have your U.S. Department of Education, and you will have some methods that come down directly from the U.S. Department of Education, but a lot of time that's handled through the state ODE. But a great place to look for instance, funding and grants is the federal government. You also have other items such as National Endowment for Humanities, but the federal government is a great place to go for resources for uh, financial help in terms of goal setting or maybe new technology you wish to integrate into your school district. So this has just been an overview of stakeholders in educational technology. I look forward to working with you this semester and continue working through week one. And then once you are complete, move forward to week two.